A girl named Noah is looking for love. She usually meets guys online and then goes on dates. But more often than not, the guys turn out to be, well, weird. This time, hoping things will finally go right, she heads out to meet a guy named Chad. Unfortunately, during dinner, he only talks about himself, asks her to pay the bill, takes the leftovers with him, and when she turns down a second date, he starts insulting her. At boxing class, Noah vents to her best friend Mollie about the awful date. Mollie comforts her and says one day she'll definitely meet her prince. Right after the workout, the frustrated girl stops by a grocery store where she meets Steve, a guy who, at first glance, seems charming and funny. Noah gives him her number and they part ways. 2 days pass, Steve hasn't called, and Noah starts worrying he might be married. But a few hours later, he finally invites her to a bar. They drink, chat, click instantly, and really hit it off. He tells her he's a plastic surgeon. The date is fantastic, and even though Noah doesn't usually do this, she invites him home, and they sleep together. The next morning, Noah snaps a photo of him, hops in the shower, then calls Mollie to gush about the amazing date. Mollie gets curious and wants to see Steve, at least in photos, but Noah says he's not on social media. Mollie finds that odd, but Noah brushes it off. On their next date, Noah learns Steve doesn't eat animals. He also starts asking a lot of personal questions. She's smitten, maybe even in love, so she doesn't notice the weird interrogation. When Steve suggests a weekend getaway, Noah agrees without hesitation. She calls Mollie about the trip. Her best friend worries since she hasn't met Steve, but Noah calms her down by sending a photo. The day of the trip, Steve says they'll stay at his place first and leave the next day. When they arrive, Noah admires his luxurious house, ignoring the remote location and the lack of cell service or internet. He makes her a cocktail. Soon, she feels dizzy and passes out. When she wakes up, she's chained to the floor. Steve casually explains that he sells human meat for very good money. He plans to sell her piece by piece, including her hair, but he warns that the meat has to stay fresh, so he won't kill her for as long as possible. Once Steve leaves the room, Noah screams for help. She hears a woman's voice through the wall and begs for rescue, but the other girl, Penny, says they're in the same boat. Penny has lost track of time and doesn't know how long she's been there. Mollie starts panicking when Noah goes radio silent. Then Steve sends a photo supposedly from Noah's phone. Mollie finds the same image online and realizes her friend didn't take it. Meanwhile, Steve tries to make Noah eat. He still treats her warmly, so when she asks to shower, he agrees, but Noah tries to escape. He knocks her out and carries her to the operating table. He tells her it's punishment for bad behavior. Back in her cell, she talks to Penny again. They bond, and Noah admits she slept with Steve. Penny is shocked. She's never heard of another victim who did that. At the same time, Mollie visits Paul, the bartender who served the couple on their first date. She asks to see Steve's credit card info. Since they used to date, Paul gives in. With Steve's full name, Mollie searches social media and finds Anne, his wife. Turns out he's married with 2 kids. Meanwhile, Noah asks Steve why he slept with her. He admits he really likes her but calls it a mistake. When Steve leaves, Noah spots a message scratched in a magazine by a previous victim. She follows the advice and starts asking about Steve's life. She even asks what human meat tastes like, and he gives her an honest answer. Mollie drives to Anne's address but sends her location to Paul first, just in case. She tells Anne about her missing friend, but Anne claims to know nothing and refuses to believe her husband would cheat. Steve comes home. Mollie confronts him, but he stays calm and says he has no idea what she's talking about. As she leaves, Mollie calls Noah's phone. It vibrates in Steve's pocket. Right then, Anne knocks Mollie out. That evening, Steve praises his wife for helping him. After he leaves, Anne takes a shower. That's when we see Anne is missing part of her buttock. The next day, Steve chops meat and prepares his signature dish. He invites Noah to dinner and reveals he first tasted human meat during an army internship and never forgot the flavor. He later found a community of like-minded people and built a reputation supplying high-paying clients. He convinces Noah to try the dish he spent all evening cooking. She forces herself to eat it, hiding her disgust. After dinner, Steve goes to another cell, grabs Mollie, and cuts off a piece of her. Noah, now alone, vomits up the food. Meanwhile, Paul starts freaking out when his ex stops responding. The next day, Steve returns with a gift, a beautiful dress. He invites Noah to dinner again. A couple of hours later, Noah gets ready and joins him for a candlelit romantic dinner. After the first course, Steve shows her a hidden shelf where he keeps the victim's belongings, sent to clients with the meat. Noah spots Mollie's phone but plays it cool. She keeps earning his trust. Steve brings the next dish, roasted female buttocks. Noah starts crying, expressing guilt for not feeling horrified while eating human flesh. She pretends she's starting to like it. Steve kisses her, invites her to dance, and they go to bed, where Noah bites off his tongue, steals the keys, and escapes.
Damn!
She runs to the basement, frees Mollie, then Penny, who's missing a leg. The girls confront Steve in the kitchen. A brutal fight ensues, and they barely manage to knock him out. Grabbing their phones, they run outside. Paul pulls up just then but hears gunshots and speeds away. Steve regains consciousness and finds them. Another fight breaks out. Noah grabs a gun and shoots him in the stomach. Soon after, Anne arrives, sees Steve's body, then spots Noah, who came back for her phone. Anne pretends to be a victim and attacks. Noah stabs her in the neck with the keys, but Anne keeps fighting. Mollie appears and smashes Anne's head into mush with a shovel. Exhausted, the girls collapse against a tree. Steve, bleeding out, crawls to Noah and dies in her arms. A text from Chad pops up on Noah's phone. Even though Steve is dead, his business lives on, and clients keep getting their meat. End of the movie. In the end, Fresh is a stylish, bold mix of romance and horror that I highly recommend. Stan is terrifying and magnetic. Edgar Jones is fire, and the finale hits like a gut punch. Like if you're still in shock.